I don't think that we should have hate speech on college campuses. I don't think we should have it anywhere, but that's like a whole other speech. So I know that brings up a lot of questions about free speech and opposing opinions, so before we get into it, I wanted to talk about those now. I do believe in free speech, and I know that there are people out there who have opinions that are different than mine. But if I'm pro-choice and someone else is pro-life, that doesn't mean they don't deserve to be here. If anything, they need to be here just as much as I do. People who have different opinions are often both reasoned out, and that means that we can have rational debates about these topics. Nobody should ever be isolated in a bubble where everyone has the same opinion and agrees that it's right without ever being forced to argue or debate that topic. It's impossible for you to call yourself open-minded if you don't welcome the views of others, especially if those views are grounded in a realistic rationale. But there's nothing realistic or rational about hate speech. It's entirely based in harmful stereotypes. Being told that I don't belong here, or that I should go back where I came from or go back home, isn't based in anything rational, especially because I was born in Virginia. Being told that I'm a dirty Jew and that I don't belong is, again, irrational and also super archaic. There's nothing inherently wrong or dirty about being born into a religion that is different than the majority. Being told that I'm a girl and that I shouldn't be taking physics and that I should know my place is, one, incredibly rude, stay in your lane, but also doesn't make any rational sense. There are no scientific studies that show that I, as a female, can't enjoy STEM field subjects. None of these comments were based in anything rational. And you can't argue with someone who doesn't have an argument. And I hope that anyone listening to this can think back to times when they've had comments like these and realize that they're not based in anything rational or grounded in reality. They're just based in stereotypes and anger and hate. I want to take a moment to talk really quickly about my family. My mom came to the US when she was 13, and her parents told her that she had to get a higher education. And she followed through with that. She became a doctor, and she's passed on that expectation to my siblings and I. And I've followed through with that up until recently just because I had my own goals and I had my own ideas, and I needed an education in order to achieve those. But I remember 2 years ago asking my mom why she was always so adamant that my siblings and I do well in school and that we pursue a higher education. And I remember her telling me that it's the only way for us to learn how to advocate for ourselves. That being a child of immigrants and Jewish and female, that I'm going to face adversity and that I need to have that education in order to give myself credibility, in order to advocate for myself. I started to understand it then, and I think I understand it a little more now that I'm a Jewish woman living in the American South. I had to deal with a lot of anti-Semitism back home, with being told that I was going to burn in hell and that I was a bad person. And I remember my junior year being told that there should be a terrorist box on the census just for me, just because of where some of my family came from. I don't think that I ever could have been as self-assured in those situations if I didn't have the education that I've had up until now. Being educated has allowed me to collect facts, to create an argument, to debate with people, and it's given me self-confidence. In the face of people who have tried to attack me for things that are out of my control, education has become the best tool for me and an essential tool for anybody else considered a minority to advocate for ourselves and to stand up for ourselves. But there's been a recent trend in parents who fear sending their children to college because they're afraid that their children won't be safe here. Hate speech is being used as a thinly veiled threat in order to prevent people who have fallen to minorities from going places and speaking out and getting an education. Words and actions like these come with the promise that if I don't comply, I'll be removed. Nobody should ever be intimidated out of getting an education when education is the tool that is most essential for us to move up, to advocate for ourselves, to speak our mind. Education is the most effective way for us to advocate for ourselves, and it's a place that we all need to be. Education is a universal right. It teaches us how to mingle with people who have different beliefs than us and maybe find common ground or find our truth or to get a leg up. So if you want to get an education, then you need to be here. If you have an opinion that is different than mine or anyone else's, then you still need to be here. If you think that getting educated will help you advocate for yourself, then you need to be here. And if you think that getting educated will help you get a leg up, then you need to be here. But if you think that you'd like to come here with anger and hate speech and no rational argument to back it up, then maybe you need to rethink some things before you come here. And if you think it's okay to stand by and watch as a small group of people try to intimidate others out of getting an education, then maybe you need to rethink some things too. Hate speech has no rationale and no place in academia. Thank you.